Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to be specifically talking about Andrew Yang and the new type of American political participants that we now know that we have based on the 2016 stunning, shocking defeat of Hillary Clinton by non-politician Donald Trump. Okay? All right, these two new types of political participants are silent agents and loud hollows. These two terms are Scott Garibay terms, and this is a distillation of political analysis that I have done, and I believe we now have these two types of American political participants. And Andrew Yang very carefully, very specifically needs to address both. So let me define the terms, and then I'll define exactly how Andrew Yang should proceed to manage silent agents and loud hollows. All right, so what are silent agents and loud hollows? We're going to define both American political participants by four factors, okay? Social media, polling, activism, and voting. All right, so let's talk about a silent agent and how they fall into those categories. Silent agents are low social media or no social media, okay? When it comes to polling, they do not poll well at all, okay? They either avoid polling, they literally just walk across the street, don't answer the call, they avoid polling, okay? If they are successfully polled, if they are successfully polled, silent agents will give false answers or they will give evasive answers, okay? And the reason why this is they feel that there is judgment for them on the other end of that clipboard. They are 100% right in almost all circumstances. That is absolutely true, right? It's one of the reasons why people who voted for Donald Trump didn't tell a single pollster, and why all the data science, why all the data collection was 100% wrong, right? Like, there you go. So, all right, so let's keep it moving. All right, protesting and activism, okay? Silent agents do not protest, and they're not into activism, right? You don't really see them at gatherings. They're really not going to be conducting activism in the traditional way that a political wonk would define. And I'm a political wonk. If you're listening to this, almost certainly you're a political wonk. So basically, the way political wonks would define activism, right? Like phone banking and actually giving money and taking actions which really help your side, whether your side is the red or the blue. Okay? By the way, these terms are not specific to the red or blue. The ratios are specific to red or blue, and we're going to get there. All right, but generally, silent agents do not participate in activism the way political wonks would generally think about it. They do have activism in a very non-traditional way. Silent agents will talk to people in the churches, in the pews at churches. Silent agents will talk to people when they're at the Piggly Wiggly, right? The local grocery store. Silent agents will talk to neighbors over the fence, right? This, now most political wonks would not consider this political activism. It's powerful. Silent. And by the way, if I haven't said it, okay, there is power in silence. That is absolutely critical to understand when you're talking about silent agents. There is power in silence. Okay, so we've talked about social media. We've talked about polling. We've talked about their activism. Boom, they vote. Boom, they vote. That's the last one. Silent agents vote. Very, very important. Let's talk about loud hollows, okay? Loud hollows have high use of social media, and they have broad use of social media. They're going to have Insta. They're going to have Facebook. They're going to have Reddit. Maybe they don't have Reddit. They're going to have Pinterest. They're going to have Facebook, right? They're going to have Twitter, right? They're going to have these, right? And they're going to be very loud on those platforms, right? So social media, their social media is frequent. It's robust, right? So loud hollows have high use of social media, okay? All right, then in addition to that, you have this situation. Oh yeah, how do they poll? They poll great. right? They'll tell you exactly who they're going to vote for, right? They're going to be honest and they're going to be true, and they're really not going to hesitate to poll. And the reason why is they know for them there's no judgment on the end of that clipboard, right? There really isn't. Okay, all right. So they poll great. All right, they are highly participatory in protests and activism. Right, it's incredibly likely to see a loud hollow at a protest. And it's incredibly likely to see loud hollows engaged in very traditional, what looks like traditional activism. Okay, all right. Boom. They don't vote. Loud hollows do not vote. Boom. They do not vote. Okay. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying that everyone who has high use and wide use of social media, who polls really well, and who is a protester and is highly participatory in activism, doesn't vote. But there is absolutely a significant number of people who fit all three of that first attribute who do not vote. We found this out in 2016. They did a lot of studies, and they found that literally hundreds of thousands, maybe low millions of people that were showing up for protests were not voting. That is incredible. Could you imagine being passionate enough to show at a protest, passionate to be involved in activism at your local level, at your state level, even at your national level, and then you don't show up at the polls, right? It's incredible, right? Now, all right, that's the definition. Let's talk about their ratios. Understand this clearly. The Democrats have a lot of loud hollows, and they have an incredibly small amount of silent agents. Guess what? The Republicans have a huge number of silent agents, enough to beat Hillary Clinton. Literally low millions, possibly double-digit millions, 10, 20, 30 million silent agents, right? There's a lot of them, right? And Republicans have very, very few loud hollows. They have some, but they're incredibly rare, okay? All right, so now that Andrew Yang understands this should be his action, his set of actions going forward, right? His action sequence going forward. So what does he do in the primary to deal with silent agents and loud hollows? Well, one of the things he has to do is he's crushing it. He's doing everything I'm saying he needs to do. He needs to do in addition to what he's doing now. Now, how does he do that? He has millions and millions of more dollars. He's doing great in fundraising. He should use this to get some really smart people who are going to continue to be able to pack more and more tasks into his timetable and his ability to do things, right? So what does he do? How do we handle this, right? So one of the things he does is he continues to distinguish himself from the pack, right? And he starts saying to the primary people, said, listen, I'm working hard. I'm going to beat Harris. I'm going to beat Biden. I'm going to beat Sanders. I'm going to beat Warren. Nobody else matters. Those are only 4 people I'm really fighting anymore. I'm going to defeat them. Don't worry about that. I got that on lock. Relax. What I need to talk to you Democrats now, you blues right now, is I need you to understand something for me. I'm going to start ignoring you, right? I'm going to start talking right as I am literally running against. I need you to understand that when I hit the general, and a little bit right now, I'm going to start ignoring you. I'm going to talk to blue concerns less. I'm going to talk to Democrat concerns less. Now, why would I do this, right? The reason why is I'm going to go get me I'm going to talk to blues and Democrats less. I'm going to go get me some reds. I'm going to get me some Republican votes, right? And the reason why is this is a huge swing. When we get a vote, when we get a silent agent from, and he doesn't have to use that term. He can explain it to people in a different way, right? Because he certainly can't tell them some of you that are listening to me right now are loud hollows. He can't say that, right? So he can say, hey, when I get a Trump voter, it takes a point from him and it gives a point to me. That's a 2-point swing. It's big. It's a big deal. It's how elections are won. And I love every single one of you blues out there. I love every single one of you Democrats out there. But I need to stop, caressing your hair, and I got to go over here. And I really have got to put my focus on red Republicans. That's it, right? Like, I've got to start cracking off votes 1 at a time, 10 at a time, 100,000 at a time, 1 million at a time from Donald Trump's base. And I'm going to be doing that right now in the primary a little bit. And then when I hit the election, I'm going to be doing it a lot. You will forget that I will forget you even exist, right? Like, I ain't going to really be talking to you because I know you're going to show up at the polls, and he'll say it nicer than this. I know you're going to show up in the polls in 2020. You know why? Not because I, Andrew Yang, told you to show up at the polls in 2020. Not because I, Andrew Yang, rallied you, right? You're going to show up at the polls because Donald Trump rallied you. He terrified you. He told you that if you stayed home and you didn't vote for Hillary in 2016, you broke the world, right? So you'd better get your butt there in 2020. And I, Andrew Yang, am not going to spend another breath telling you that, right? I'm going to snap off votes. I'm going to go get me some evangelicals, right? I'm going to go get me some people that bass fish. I'm going to go get me some people that eat cheeseburgers and drive Ford F-150s, right? I'm going to go get me some people that, can line dance, right? I'm going to go get me some people that bale hay, right? And frankly, I'm not really going to be talking to you blue Dems for a while, right? Because I got work to do. I got to win this election, right? This is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to tell blues and Dems to say, hey, I love you, but I ain't going to be talking to you for a while. I'm going to go snap me off some red Republican votes. And the reason why is it would be easy for me to stay here and talk to you about climate change and assure you that, I understand that the polar caps are melting. And it would be easy for me to talk to you about animal rights. And it would be easy for me to talk to you about all the things that you're comfortable about and blow some more sunshine and smiles on you the way Hillary did, right? She talked to you. She never forgot you for a moment. And she lost. She got decimated by a rank political amateur, right? He decimated her. We've got to win, right? And I love every single one. Andrew Yang's got to tell him, I love you. I love all the blues. I love all the Dems. I stand for what you stand for. But I got to go talk to them red Republicans and snap them votes off because I understand silent agent and loud hollow, right? This is the real reason we lost in 2016, right? And that's it. That's the whole ball of wax, man. That's how you win elections. And I really think Andrew Yang needs to roll off and start busting off votes in groups of 10, in groups of 100, in groups of 1,000, in groups of 100,000, in groups of 1,000,000 votes. He's smart enough to do it. He has the wisdom to do it. He has the courage to do it. He has the drive to do it. We are paving the road to the White House. Andrew Yang is going to be the person who finally decides if we can have a better president than Abraham Lincoln. We're getting there. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.